Okay, this is part two of why people who want to get rich fail. And like I was saying before, not everybody wants to, and that's fine. Um, but here's Donald Trump's response to this. First, he quotes Thoreau, which is always a good thing. He said, Thoreau's comment is, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionability of a man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. And that makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. He said, you may have to work harder and longer, but that is preferable to making excuses and letting your goals slide. I don't know if you ever watched Donald Trump, but he is not big into excuses. He's a very matter of fact, straight to the point, no holds barred type of serious man, and he doesn't take excuses very well. He also goes in here, talks about. This is actually kind of long, so I'm going to read this. This should probably take me like 2 minutes or so. Anyway, he says, above all, do not begin to focus on the negatives of your situation. Focus on the solutions. There are many examples of people who have risen above great hardship and profound disadvantages to become amazingly successful. That is always a possibility, and you could be that example. Remember that you are in some worthy company if you are in an environment that isn't great. Keep your focus on your goals. Be willing to go the extra mile or miles, and know you have just as much right to be successful as anyone else does. I say that because I've seen people who seem to think they're asking too much if they want to be successful. It's almost as if it's a territory that belongs to someone else but not to them. I don't know if they were raised to believe that success means you're greedy or selfish or whatever, but it's definitely a mindset that needs to be worked on. There is no advantage to being poor. In fact, poverty becomes a burden to everyone in the long run. So, in other words, if even if you don't want to be financially secure for yourself, you should be financially secure so you're not a burden on somebody else. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. If you have the capability and the means to do that, no healthy person wants to be a burden to someone else. Creating an environment that can help others requires money. Being in a position to be charitable is definitely more desirable than becoming a charity case. That alone can be a great motivation for paying attention and working hard. So you're getting a lot of straight talk from Donald Trump, which is nothing new at all. Um, I might as well read the last few sentences. He said, heredity and environment are two important factors that influence what we are and what we become, or what we do not become. But they are not the only factors. The other factors are your responsibility and your choice. That in itself should be an empowering thought. You are in a position to override your disadvantages. We've all heard the term environment friendly, and it can apply here too. Be friendly to your situations, learn from them, but keep progressing forward. For example, Robert learned from both of his environments, and they both served him well in the long run. Keep your focus on success and elevate your life to where it should be. And that's the key right there. Elevating yourself. Um, doing things that at first thought may seem a little bit out there. I mean, if you want to be famous, if you want to be a famous actor or actress, um, you know, go for it. Just do it. Don't worry about the process of doing it. Just do it. And then somewhere in the middle, you're probably going to wake up and say, "Wow, how did I get here?" I mean, there are a lot of these stars in Hollywood who are the most arrogant people in the world, but you can see them being humbled when they're interviewed, and they say, when somebody asks them how they got to where they are, and they're just amazed at the question, because for them it's just one long blur. I mean, they worked hard, and their hard work, finally paid off. Because most of those people, were not just, one-hit wonders. They didn't just show up. They were working hard behind the scenes on Broadway, which is much harder, in my opinion, than um, than the big screen. Um, you know, but that's just my opinion for all you actors out there. Um, but yeah, go after what you want. Uh, Stay in a very good environment, a positive environment where people are supportive of you and your goals. Um, your goals should never be laughed at, and you should actually write down all of your goals. And I know that is like, wow, that's like a broken record. People say, all right, write down your goals, write down your goals, write them down, write them down. But really, there is case study after case study of people who actually write down their goals, who become successful, and who actually accomplish their goals. And I will be getting into goal setting very soon, and actually how to write down your goals specifically. But yeah, these two guys are a great example of people who have achieved goals that if you were to ask them now, they probably said at first maybe they weren't so or they seemed really lofty and really out there. Whereas now, I don't think there's a goal that they don't set where they have no doubts that they can achieve them. Um, they're very confident, they're very successful, and they are great. They're great examples of uh, success of success in general, and what you can do when you really put your mind to something. Because Robert Kiyosaki is definitely not the most talented man in the world, and I've heard him speak publicly in Lithonia, Georgia, and I'm going to tell you, he's not the most talented speaker in the world. I've heard much better, but his message is on point, and he knows his audience, and you know, you really should know your audience in whatever you're doing, because you know, if you're gonna go get a job at a certain place, you have to know who you're talking to and how to treat those people. Um, and I don't know. I really don't have a lot more to say, except he asks you take some time to further analyze your environment. He asks if your home and family life is an environment that develops your financial genius. If it is, how so? If not, what can you do about it? The next question he asks is your workplace an environment that encourages the development of your financial genius? If it is, how so? If not, what can you do about it? 3. Do you have any idea what your genius might be? If so, what is it? Are you developing it? If you don't know what your genius might be, how can you find out what it is? I will be posting a lot more on that because I actually have something. If you don't know what your purpose in life is, um, I had the answer for you. The next thing he asks is, are you working with people who want you to develop your genius? If so, how do they support you? If not, what can you do about it? Not people that are jealous, not people who thrive on seeing people knocked down and kicked down. And the last one is, if you found your environment, what would you be willing to work hard at to develop your genius? Or would you be willing to work hard to develop your genius? Why or why not? That's like a no-brainer, if I've ever heard one. You know, you need to hold yourself accountable, and people that really want to see you succeed will also hold you accountable. If they're not holding you accountable, um, then you really should take a step back and question whether they're for your greater good or not. Um, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who, if I fell flat on my face, they would be there to pick me up, but only for that reason, because that empowers them. So keep yourself accountable. Uh, have people in your life who are true friends hold you accountable, and just go after whatever you want in life. And that's really my only message, or that's the main message. Go after your dreams. I dare you.